Hello, I would like to say something about that music I'm creating. It's in form of meditation. I call them initially uh, humming healing meditations that are accompanied by piano. So basically, it's kind of a 2.5 minutes long recording of piano music, and then I record the sound, the humming of the voice. And I think it goes perfectly together. And its purpose is, its function, or how to call it when it's actually art. It doesn't have a function, basically, but I just discovered it calms me down, and it calms you down. It's just kind of some soothing energy flowing out of it, and the sound of the voice, and also the piano and everything. So I'm just creating it for the purpose of just listening to it and relaxing. But also, I think there is another component to it, which is I think that it serves as a meditation. And basically, meditation can widen your consciousness. It can wake you up in this transcendental way. And I think it also does that. It has this kind of ability to make you more conscious, make you more aware. And how it works, it's a mystery how it works, but it works as I think that consciousness of the creator, of the one that is recording this. So when I'm recording the music, I think that the state of mind in which I'm creating it has a lot of influence on the recording, and hence on the listener. So it's not all about just music. So if somebody else was to reproduce it, maybe it would not be so... maybe it wouldn't have the same effect it has. About the musical frame of it, it's sort of like it all happens at one place. I don't plan to make a meditation. I don't compose it as if I was a composer, and then you think about it and you write sheet music and then you change something. No, everything is created on the spot and recorded. And it's actually a form of improvisation. And also one characteristic to the whole music is that it's just... it's not... it doesn't have any planned form or architecture or structure or an idea. It's more imagined as a meditation. So whatever comes in the moment is being played, and it's totally made with that in mind, just to serve as a meditation. Usually I was composing music which was which had an for a role model, it had classical music. So it kind of had the harmony, maybe the form, maybe the way of playing it, and so on. But I tend to, for a while now, just to get out of any frame, because every attempt to make classical music, to make any music, actually, it always comes down to some kind of a role model. Maybe Chopin, maybe Brahms, or some kind of other composers, even with the modern music, and it all kind of mixes together and you get the final product made of many composers. I'm not saying it's bad. It can be an influence to your music, and I think a lot of great composers in the history work influenced by one another. But I think that there is what's calling me to do in music. I think that I just want to let go of any framework, any influence, any rules, anything, and just let the music flow and just see what it is in the end. And it makes me happy more than making music which kind of makes sense, if you want, like that. So one characteristic is that there is no tonality. Sometimes there is, but most of the time there is no tonality. But the very premise of the whole music is not to be stopped or not to be discouraged to do anything that you want to do in a moment. So if you want to have a tonality, you can have it. It's okay, but if you don't want, you don't have the tonality. And one interesting thing is that the chords that are part of the composition, in classical music, they have their own function. So every chord has its own function and color, and there is kind of logical way to connect all of them and to make one form of a piece of music. But in this composing music like this, there is no function of a chord. So every chord is just there. Well, you can think about it as every chord has its own color. It's there because it's color, because of its aesthetics of the chord, of how does this chord sound, and it is there because it makes this color. But also, if you go deeper into thinking about it, you will see that also the color can be a function of a chord. It can have the functional meaning. So it's also, I tend to avoid thinking about it as some kind of functionality, even in terms of resolution of a chord, or what is going after the chord, or the very color of it. So I would dare to say that the chord is there just because it's there. And it can be beautiful. It may not be. You may like it. You may not like it. It can make sense, or it can maybe it doesn't have sense. Maybe it fits with other chords. Maybe it doesn't fit. It's not subjected to any rules or any ethics or any kind of whatever. So it all serves just to be there, and that captures the essence of meditation. Because when you're meditating, you don't give importance to thoughts, and you don't have the desire to influence the flow of meditation. The crucial point of meditation is to observe whatever comes. And by very observing, you get lost in the very observance, and then you kind of let go of anything that's not true. So in this very music, it's kind of like that. I play a chord. It might sound well, it might not, but it's there because it is there. And the point is that the music goes on. I don't care about resolution of the chord, because that would be like if I'm meditating, I have a thought, and then I think, of course, that always happens in the meditation. I think this thought that I have is very important, and I have to think what I'm gonna do about it. But it's never actually important. It's just the how brain functions, and the point is to let go of that function. It's the same with this music. So whatever chord you're playing, for example, if I'm playing a dominant 7th chord, which is kind of classical chord, usual chord, and it wants to resolve in a certain way, and there are many ways you can resolve it, and they're all familiar. But what I can do if I play it, if I see I played in dominant 7th, I don't force myself to resolute it or to have any kind of resolution. I can just go on like as if nothing has happened. And that's how it happens. And it goes on until I think, okay, now it's time to stop. And it ends. And I think that's amazing. And later on, when I'm listening to the very recording, some other part of me is listening to it. I'm not. It's not that I'm familiar with what I have played, because I just played it out of nothing. And later on, which is also interesting, that it's not that I'm critically listening to the recording that I just made, as in kind of music in music critics way. Like I'm observing what is the aesthetics of it. The crucial thing about listening to the meditation is the kind of the state that it leaves you in, because I feel after I listen to it, there is some kind of internal. I wouldn't say it's a feeling. It's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's just kind of space. It's kind of peace, something. But every meditation has its different sensation that follows it. Some kind of different dimension to it, which is very interesting. And I just leave it at that. I don't know why it happens and how it happens. I just think it's brilliant. I love to do it. Yeah.